Okay, Nan, tell us, what was your memories when war first broke out? How old are you? Where were you?
Well, we was already evacuated. We was evacuated about a week or so before, and they declared when war came over the radio, it was about 12 o'clock or midday, and my friend and me and her mum were walking back from Mass, and we were walking across this park, and she said, "You'll see all the churches filled now with people praying about the war."
And how old are you then? Do you remember?
I was 13.
13 when war broke out?
Yeah.
And where did you get evacuated to?
We got evacuated about a week before that. We went to Burgess Hill.
Mm.
And
what was it like being in Burgess Hill?
it was lovely. I never wanted to come home, really,
Mm.
because I enjoyed the country. You know, it was a different life.
Mm.
And although we were away from our parents, and hardly ever heard from them, you know, it was a lovely life, because they were very kind to me, the people. Not the first two houses. I mean, the second house I went to, I was with my nearest friends, Connie and Joni Latter. She stayed there anyway, you know, she always stayed there. And she was, I think this man married her late, you know, so they had no children, but he was a lovely man. And she was a bit of a witch. And it was only a very small room, so you had a square table, and say just behind this chair was a big mirror over the fireplace, and she was combing her hair one day, and I was going like that over my breakfast, and she turned around and whacked me. She smacked me around the head because I was trying to cover my... I mean, our mum was very strict about combing her hair where there's food. So I was covering my breakfast over. She whacked me. But we had quite a good time. I mean, she let us each have a comic, a choice of a comic every week. So when that comic came through the door, nobody else could touch it unless it was theirs. They had to read it first. And she had chickens, which I loved, you know, because she used to cook the food and I used to go down and feed them, so I liked all that, you know. Did
any bombs ever go off in Burgess Hill or not?
Not really, no.
Did you ever see the planes going
over? It was
or?
only 10 miles from Brighton.
Yeah.
But planes used to come in low over the houses. And one day when me and my friend was coming home from school, we were coming what I used to call the brickyard, because it was at the back of the house where I lived, and her, she lived there as well, the other place. And as we were coming across, he machine gunned, yeah, and we didn't know what that was. We didn't know it was a machine gun. We only heard the rat-a-tat-tat. But I said to her, we ran home, and when we told the lady, she said, "You shouldn't come across the country code, no, we're not being in the open too much." Because we were right in the open, in a field sort of thing, you know. From London, burning, you know. But I used to be under the bed, under the table, because they used to make all curtains and everything for the baby to be under. And I used to be singing in all the Latin that I was learning to open the new church. So I sing, when the bishop walks in, you sing this Esse Sacerdotis Magnus, and as I'm singing it to him, she's saying to the lady next door, look at her singing something about the chairs and the tables.
And did you ever go back to London?
Yes. What? When
you went back to Bermondsey, what was London like at that time?
Well, as I say, I went back for my sister's wedding, and my dad was listening to the news on the Thursday. And
what year was that, do you reckon?
He sent me and my brother back to Burgess Hill because the raid started on the Saturday, that Saturday.
So was that like 39?
That was on the Saturday after the Thursday we went back.
What year though? 1940.
1940,
yeah.
Yeah, and it was one of the terrible roads because we lived in the dock area, didn't we?
Mm.
It was like a surrounded island. We were surrounded by water and bridges, and that's why they wanted to get us all out of there, because, you know, once you'd be trapped.
Yeah.
But being near the dock area, where the boats and everything was, you know, it was pretty bad.
So did your house in Bermondsey ever get hit?
No, wasn't we lucky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have an air raid shelter in the garden?
No, we didn't, because my mother, when it got bad, she went to Leamington Spa where my brother was buried, and we stayed there. They had a little house and old furniture from the old top yard, you know. None of it was matching, but it was good enough for. We had our home in Bermondsey, so. But no, luckily enough, no, it wasn't. Yeah, my dad stayed there. You see, my dad stayed in London.
And he was all right?
Yeah.
Did he have any hectic nights?
Yeah, of course. I mean, every night there was bombs. Every night, and you'd hear the thud. Even though we weren't there, we could hear the planes going over.
What job was he doing during it?
And it used to be a drone. Like that, you know. A real drone. And you knew there was a lot up there.
What job was your dad doing?
My dad was a crane driver in the docks.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But he carried on working?
He carried on working, yeah. Yeah. But as I say, I didn't really know the worst of the war because of the...
And when did you meet Bum?
When I come home.
What, back to Bermondsey?
Yeah, I was going out with his brother, Georgie. His wife never forgives me. But yeah, I met him. I stayed one night in his house because we'd been to a party and we all stayed there. And when I got up the next morning, I started to make a fire in the grate, and it just got it going. And he came and sat right in front of it like that. I hated him. I thought, you pig. So, didn't take no notice, but then he started seeing us home. Me and another girl, we used to walk downtown with us, because it was a bit dicey where I lived. I lived in the dock area. He lived up near the tunnel. So he used to walk along with us because we had to go past the gasworks, which no houses at all, go over the Iron Bridge, which was all sort of like apartments like that. It was frightening. And you wouldn't see a house until you got right down where the buildings were. So he used to walk us down, and that's how we became. What
was Bum doing during the war? Can't tell us what he was doing.
He was in the medical corps, so he was in the dentist assistant. And he had it rather good, you know, he loved it. But one day when I was on parade, a friend of his took his cap because he forgot, he didn't know where his was, and because Bum was without cap on parade, and they made him have his hair cut. He had nice hair. Yeah. He said, "Where's your cap, sir? Under your hair?" Yeah.
And what about his brothers? Where are all his brothers stationed?
Charlie was in the Air Force. Georgie was in the Army. Jocko was in the Navy. And that's all. I think the girls didn't go anywhere. Franny was in Wales evacuated.
And who was, the story you were saying earlier about, is it Freddie?
My Fred?
Yeah.
Yeah, I first started crying again.
Who was he though?
He was in Dunkirk when he was captured. When they tried to evacuate them all from Dunkirk. And he was 19. And he'd spent the war in, well, first of all they was in Germany in a farm. And when they was in the farm, him and his friend was invited up to the house. And all the German family was sitting round the big table, and they started singing Silent Night. And him and his friend cried. And they both tried to get out the door together, and they were squashing in the door because they was crying. But I don't think that was too bad for him. But then they took him to Poland, and I think he made the best of it, you know, because we used to have to write the letters to Stalag, whatever, you know, to him. And we had a picture once, and I thought this chap was Freddie. I forgot what he looked like.
Was he your brother?
Yeah, he was 19. Yeah, he was. When he come home though, they had all the flags across the street. Welcome home. I mean, it was nice because none of them knew him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in Leamington Spa.
Hmm.
So it was nice when he come home. Then he met a girl, Maggie Murphy. They were married. Yeah, so he had a girl and a boy. His daughter and son.
Yeah.
When the war was ending,
Yeah.
and Germany was losing, they'd already lost in Russia.
Yeah, yeah.
And they marched them, they just marched them. I don't know where they was taking them, you know, but he said it was a long, long way. And they were sort of, when they stopped at a place, he said, him and his friend were running around looking for food. And he said they heard this machine gun going, and both of them were looking for one another. He said both come round the corner and bashed into one another. He said in sort of sighed relief. But this was an officer coming back from the Russian front, used up his bullets and just shot people. Shot the men after coming all that way. So.
And what were your memories of the end of the war?
The end of the war.
Of VE Day and things like that.
Well, VE Day, I was in Leamington Spa and they had people marched in the streets because the lights went on. And we'd never had lights on for 5 years. And all the lights came on and everybody was marching, singing all through the streets. And my mum, she was bigger size, and her friend was a bigger size. And they went down a little place where they had iron gates, and it was only a narrow little gate, and neither of them could get through. So they had to walk all the way around to catch up with them. Yeah, they were both giggling and laughing, you know what I mean?
And do you remember seeing the troops coming back?
No, I didn't see the troops coming back. I just knew that they were gradually coming back because they had all these demob suits, awful suits they were. But because things were rationed in those days and cloth was rationed, you used to make your dresses out of curtaining. You know, buy curtaining to make the dress. Yeah, you used to have dresses made which were straight with a flared bottom because you used to do the jitterbug.
Your nan won the jitterbug, didn't you? You won a jitterbug competition.
Yeah, I won the jitterbug. And they gave me a pot of cream, vanishing cream, scented. And you didn't see nothing like that in the war. You didn't see bananas and stuff like that, nothing like that, because you come from abroad.
Yeah.
And I put it in this cage. I said to my mum, she said, where you been? Because I was late. I had to be in by 10, but this was getting on for 11. And I said, I've been to the dance. I said, look, I won a prize. And she took it off me and threw it at me. And it smashed. So I put it in a saucer and I put it in this cupboard, which was in our living room. And she cooked the meat with it on Friday. And the place stank of scent. I said, there's a nice smell, Mum. She said, I'll give you a nice smell. She said, I'll cook the joint with it. And because that was the only joint you got that week. No, all your rations. But it was funny, she was saving a tin of fruit for my brother when he come home, and she saved a Christmas pudding. Because you couldn't get nothing like that. You say no fruit for puddings and stuff.